Hey YouTube, Coppersan here. There are 49 classes in the game and I got a tip or a trick for every one of them. So here are 49 tips and tricks, one for every class. Some of them are not super crazy, as some classes just really are those one-trick button classes with little going for them. But I tried to find something interesting and useful for all of them. Well, except maybe one or two. Feel free to share your own tips as well. I also might make a sequel if this video pops off. And I'm probably gonna use those. Aaron recently got some nice changes and can now use Beyond Blade without having to use Final Blow. This doesn't mean you're off the hook though. Using Final Blow before Beyond Blade still increases the damage of Beyond Blade by 20%. So you still want to use the old combo for bossing and you still want to buff up Final Blow with your 5th job trios. Explorer heroes ideally use two-handed axes since they get a 5% damage boost from using them. You can use a one-handed axe and a shield, which has the potential to be slightly better if you have one of the best shields in the game though. That's also above 20 stars and that shield is only dropped by the boss and the Toad boss in Ninja Castle. It's extremely rare and hard to find, so generally speaking you want to be using a two-handed axe. If you're leveling up a Dawn Warrior, make sure to put Cosmic Burst on auto mode. This skill will activate automatically once you reach max stacks and use your next attack, making this nice and simple class even easier to play. Similar to the Explorer heroes, the Paladin also gets different buffs depending on the weapon that they're using. Generally speaking, you want to be using a two-handed blunt weapon. Using this weapon type will give you 5% critical damage and 10% ignored defense bonus. Plus you get to shout, it's hammer time, so it's a win-win anyway. Dark Knight's final pact is affected by buff duration. For example, the purple pact invincibility will last 40 seconds by default, but thanks to some additional buff duration, my Dark Knight is invincible for almost a full minute. Get as much buff duration as you can for longer invincibility on this class. Using bobbing or weaving as a blaster will restore bullets, those bullets you use for your revolving cannon skill to deal additional damage. To keep up your DPS as a blaster, you don't want to spend time reloading, so every 2 magnum punch or double blast attacks you can use bobbing and weaving. Cancel the bobbing and weaving animation by jumping mid-slide to save time. That way you can deal more damage and never run out of bullets. It isn't until 4th job that you can recover 2 bullets per dash. This also works with Hammer Smash, by the way. I've been playing a Mihail a lot recently, and if you want to maximize your damage on this class, make sure to Royal Guard as often as you can. This skill can be used to animation cancel any other attack, allowing you to attack faster, deal more DPS. And secret bonus tip, make sure to use your own Link skill as well. For Mihail, the skill also increases his own damage for a short while and provides even more defensive bonuses than if you would use it on a different character. For Kaiser, I got a small optimization tip for bossing. If you use the regular attack, then jump and press the Dragon Link key, you can use Wing Beat. You can then use Wing Beat right away afterwards, saving you some time instead of having to use Wing Beat twice by just holding down the button, which has a slightly longer delay. Boom, 0.5 seconds saved. If you're playing the Adele class, don't forget to use Resonance Rush. It's not only a great mobility skill, it will give a buff that stacks up to 2 times, increasing final damage by 5% and ignore defense by 5% per stack. Adele is all about that micromanagement, and this is one of the shorter duration buffs that you always have to keep in mind, especially when bossing. The Demon Slayer received some changes recently. Some demons might have missed it. Make sure that Demon Awakening is active when you're using Demon Bane. This increases the final damage of Demon Bane by 90%. Combine your skills for maximum damage. If you're playing a Demon Avenger, make sure to get the Kaiser Link skill. This one increases HP and is one of the better Link skills to get for the Demon Avenger, with it being an HP based class and everything like that. Got a fun tip for Zero players. While using Twin Blades of Time, you can still use the NPC Interact key or Harvest key. So you can, for example, cleanse while using the skill. The skill makes you invincible as well for some easy cleansing, and for example the Damien fight works wonders in Vihela as well. Hayato has a unique passive that increases his damage based on how much defense he has. Don't go making a pure defense Hayato though, but it's something to keep in mind if you're looking for slightly more damage. Bishop's Holy Shell doesn't work against every attack. It does work against Acarium's Screen Crack, Zukum's Arm Slam, Pierre's Tornado Fire, Papelladis' Screen Crack, Lotus' Purple Balls, Lucid Bomb, Will's Screen Crack in Phase 1, Will's Poison Cloud in Phase 3, and Halleck's Hands in Phase 2. Fire Poison Mages go really hard on cooldown hats. These reduce the cooldown of their DOT Punisher and Poison Nova, their 5th job skills, as well as the cooldown on Infinity. If you're looking for a damage boost to your Fire Poison Mage, try to get at least 2 lines of cooldown reduction potential on your hat. To maximize your damage as an Ice Lightning Mage, you have to lure bosses into a corner before using Bolt Barrage. The skill moves around the map. If you angle it towards the boss that's in the corner, you'll get the max value out of this skill. Use your ice skills to slow down the movement as well for an even easier time. If you're training in leopard mode as a beast tamer, you can animation cancel other skills with Thunder Dash. For example, the end animation of Macho Slam is kinda long, but you can speed things up using Thunder Dash. Similar to Hayato, Kanna also has a special skill that can buffer per magic attack. You can buffer per magic attack with HP. The more HP you have, the more magic attack you'll get. Again, it's not super viable, just like Hayato, but getting some additional HP in your Kanna will never hurt. Kinesis has an amazing hyper skill, but it locks you in place for a while, and no one wants to be stuck, right? If you're using the hyper skill Mental Tempest, use the kinetic Jaunt skill afterwards to fly away from that animation lock and start throwing even more trains. Blaze Lizard's Orbital Flame is not affected by attack speed. I did not know this either, but hey, now you know. Ilium can use his teleport to break some of his longer skill animations, kinda similar to Kinesis. For example, you can cancel the end animation of Crystalline Spirit if you teleport right after using the skill. Speaking of teleporting, if you want to know a fun battle mage gimmick, if you up jump and teleport at the same time, you can kinda zoom across the map. This works great in some vertical maps and generally bigger maps to get around quickly. Use it in your sweaty rotation for faster clearing. If you add Luminous, his reflection skill, to a macro with just itself in it, turning and casting the skill will be slightly faster. No idea why this works, but it works and it's actually kinda noticeable. Most newer Evan players would have trouble using Elemental Radiance, that big beam skill. The skill order that I found that's easiest to activate is as following. Use Elemental Radiance, then use Dragon Breath, then Wind Cycle, which triggers Wind Breath, Return, which then triggers Return Flame, Dragon Slam, Elemental Barrage, which triggers Wyrmskink Red, and then use Mana Burst. You can use Magic Debris in between there as well. Should be a pretty safe way to always activate the skill. When you're playing as a Lara, keep in mind to see different types of skills that both use her veins and they don't work together. You cannot have a Fire Elemental summon active and absorb a Fire Element at the same time. One of them will disappear depending on which one you used first. Except of course for your third job buff skills, those do work together with your either absorption or summon skills. For the Night Lord and Night Walker class as well, the best throwing stars can be obtained in the Phantom Forest. You have to do a lot of dailies to get a set though of these balanced furies. And another quick tip I can give for Night Lords, because you have to be very close to a boss to make full use of your burst, get the 5th job Common Thief skill Shadow Walkers. You can stay in Dark Side while attacking, help me out a ton on my Night Lord as well. When you're bossing on your Shadower, if you use Trick Blade right after the second hit of Assassinate, you'll be teleported behind the boss and you're invincible for a short while. Use this to start attacking right away after certain boss attacks and patterns. Dual Blader's Blade Tornado's hitbox can be optimized by using the skill slightly in front of a boss. If you use a skill while standing on top of a boss, you can see I'm dealing 74 lines of damage, but using it slightly in front of the boss, we deal 86 lines of damage because we utilize the full travel distance of the skill. You can also use Blade of Destiny right after Blade Tornado to animation cancel the skill. For Nightwalkers, jumping can animation cancel your last throwing star animation and leaves you in Dark Side. Great to dodge those pesky boss debris. Kadena's Summon Scimitar is a teleport skill and can be used to dodge Lotus lasers. Be careful though, you have to time it right, else you will still die to those pesky lasers. Hoyoung's 1000-tone stun hitbox changes depending on your height. The higher you are when you use the skill, the easier it will be to hit the max amount of monsters with it, and you can travel really fast as well, which is also an added bonus. When you take your Phantom bossing, it is recommended to use the 3rd job skill Cross Surge from Dark Knight and Final Cut from Dual Blades. Both skills increase your final damage, which is great for bossing, with Final Cut granting you a 3-second invincibility frame as well. You wanna see something fun with Xenon? It's always tedious to charge Omega Blaster when you're bossing. Well, no more, at least for one charge. It only works for one charge, unfortunately, this trick. Hold down the skill and let it charge. Then open up your V-Matrix while still holding down the skill button and unassign the skill. Now you can let go of the skill and reapply it. I will do it a bit later in the video, but you can do this right away if you want to, no need to switch maps. You can now switch maps, whatever, and not have to worry about anything. Next time you use Omega Blaster, just tap it and boom, you get a full charge. Ark's Scarlet Drive and the version when transformed, Grievous Wounds, can be used to teleport between Lotus lasers as well. They also work like a teleport. You have to be really close to the laser for it to work though. It will take some practice to get used to the distance. Again, be careful when using this. Shade's Spirit Flow can be used to reset your cooldowns, but did you know it can also reset the cooldowns of Link skills? Use the Angelic Buster Link skill before using Spirit Flow, then you get another free 10 seconds of 60% damage buff after using Spirit Flow. It also works on Hero's Echo as well. Thunderbreaker's Lightning Spear Multi-Strike can be used as is, but it can also be weaved in between your attacks so you aren't forced to use it in one go. The best Legion effect for Mechanic is the Corsair Legion effect that increases minion duration, allowing your robots to stay out even longer, besides your 5th job ones. Complete this quest line over here in Showa to access a special NPC's quest. This quest rewards a special buff once a day. You don't have to do anything for this, just talk to the NPC and get a buff. And if you're lucky, you get a very special buff that unlocks an achievement. This achievement is the only way in the game to get glass marble bullets. You can only get them once per account and they are the best in slots bullets for the Corsair class. If you combine the dash and jump for the Buccaneer at the right time, you can super jump. Pretty sure most people know this, but it doesn't hurt to just mention it once again. Cannoneers can use their nuclear option skill as an invincibility frame. It's a bit hard to time. You only are invincible when you use the skill, when you load up your cannon and when you fire your missile. It will take some getting used to, but it can help you get out of a tricky situation if you know how to time it. Jet's Link skill has the potential to be very solid, giving you 30 main stat and 30 attack or a magic attack when you reroll it. Just make sure you don't forget to save it after you're done resetting. You can buy the things you need for this in the cash shop. On your Angelic Buster, you can use the Daydreamer skill to teleport to a special map where you can watch Angelic Buster transform over and over. I know this is what you guys want, okay? Bowmasters need to stand on top of their arrow storm zone to double the chance to activate magic arrows. Positioning does matter for this class, gotta be quick though, those zones are very short-lived. For Marksman and the other Explorer Archers, there's also a new change. Right-click the double jump to change it to a normal double jump, no more annoying double up tapping. For those Maplers starting out as Pathfinders, make sure to macro your first and second jump skills together for very easy gameplays. This is like almost the only skill you use when mobbing. If you are a Wind Archer, keep in mind that sometimes your familiars can interfere with your crystal, making the boss target you instead of the crystal. Desummon your familiars, resummon your crystal, and you should be fine again. Mercedes her Ikelas Wrath is an amazing burst skill. You can double tap the arrow keys when using the skill to change the direction that you're firing. Make sure to use the combination with the Spirit of Eliol as well for even more damage. Did you know that Wild Hunters can right click their Hurricane skill and change it into a different mobbing skill? I still like the Hurricane skill more though. Now I looked far and wide for a cane, but there doesn't seem to be any fun tips or tricks besides that you can animation cancel possession. So instead I present you this GIF. Not sure if there was a bug in CMS or how it works, but Kane can easily get that Dragon Egg. I guess he's a dragon after all, so he should be allowed to do this. And those are all tips and tricks for today. I hope this video was fun and useful. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, many thanks to our members for making these videos possible. Special thanks to Niels the Coninck, Raar, maar waar, Sebastian, Hanoy, Ryalias, Terry Kim, Vareese, Kaudi Mora, Wiley, Historycanon, BackSpaceOTI, Saffronyx, Ziggydeer, Flidiot, Knifesu, Cloudfix, Jesus Rodriguez, Digby, Vira, Trevor, Michael Menchaca, Ratius, Justin Vale, Silvio Nato, Afterlord_MS, Striker Elk, Tidal 1 Pun, Radical Jaws, Riser Are Sir Tito 655, Mathias Simonsson, PC Game Life, The Passenger, Martin Panzik, Conrad Cristales, Ace Light, Mr. Narc, Ben Wolf, Max Bernhardt, Muka 1017, BNB King, Scotty Flies Fast, Priscilla, Brendon Cam, Vague Botnet, Fecco, Victor Sundstrom, ceemak, Only, Rashid Alarudi, Gerlando Belavia, Gianfranco Calderon Canavero, Lucky Beats, Matthew Def, Gummy Bullet, Lord Fazil, Spuds D. Kaiser, Zunnen, That Archer Guy, Grogro, and Gabriel Eck. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay safe and happy mapling!